If you recently got an M4 iPad Pro, you might be in the market for a magnetic iPad stand. I've actually had multiple from my past iPad Pros, like the Lab 22 stand from YouTuber Satechi, and for a long time I used this MagFlot stand. But you'll find that due to the change in arrangements of the magnets, here's the old MagFlot stand, you can see the arrangements of the magnets here. You actually can't use any of those older stands with the new iPad Pro. The magnets are in different places and it's just not going to stick. And if you go on Amazon and look, you'll see a lot of them say iPad Pro 11-inch, but you have to be careful because a lot of them are not compatible with the new M4 model. Enter a brand I had not heard of before, but Kuxiu seems to be one of the first on the market with a magnetic stand for the M4 iPad Pro. But it's not just a stand either. It actually has a USB-C port on the back and it will charge your iPad through the smart connector. This is their X33 stand, which we'll talk about, and they also have an X36, which is an arm that can clamp to your desk. And this one also has that USB-C port on the back to charge your iPad. Let's start with the X33. This is your more basic iPad stand. In the box, it's just the all aluminum stand, pretty heavy, so it's definitely sturdy on a desk. And it comes with a braided USB-C cable. Kudos to Kuxiu. It's a tongue twister there. And as you can see, we have that smart connector right there on the front. Just to compare a newer stand that supports the M4 iPad Pro, those are those magnets again. You kind of see the clusters there on the right, and this little L shape on the left and another cluster at the bottom. Compare that to one of the older stands, and you'll just see the magnets are in a different formation. You would think being that close, maybe they would work, but not the case. So one of the things I like about the X33 is this thing actually folds up extremely compact. It rotates 360 degrees, so you can turn it however you would like. And this is flat enough to fit in a bag if you really wanted to take this somewhere. But again, the best part is that USB-C port on the back, plugging that into a power source. There's no brick in the box, so you do have to plug it into something you already have. Now you can keep the stand plugged in, just place your iPad on there, and it will immediately start charging. Very cool. Now charging through the smart connector is slower than charging directly through a brick, but Kuxiu is saying you get 18 watts fast charging, and since it's sitting on a desk most of the time, it can just sip that power, and by the time you're ready to take it off, it should be fully charged. Again, the X33 is very sturdy. You can try and move it around. My desk is shaking more than the stand. Then when you're ready, you can rotate it as much as you'd like. 360 degrees. As you can see, there's a lot of tension in that rotation, so you're not gonna have to worry about this thing moving just by itself. You can also adjust the viewing angle, and this is a pretty wide viewing angle because you can go all the way and even use it that way if you prefer. If you prefer the stand kind of going that way and your iPad here, you can still adjust the angle. Your iPad is upside down, but you could do it like that too. Now, being first to market, the measurements for the X33 seems slightly off. You'll see that there's a little lip on this side where you can see the iPad peeking through, and the same on this side. So if you're looking at the back, it doesn't look perfectly aligned with those magnets and smart connector. It doesn't affect the charging, and it's been really sturdy. I've never worried about the iPad coming off the stand, but the stand is a little smaller than the iPad. This is the 11-inch iPad, by the way. They do make it for the 13-inch as well. Now, the only other thing I wish was a little different is the material that your iPad sits on. This is not like a mesh material or soft touch material. It feels kind of hard. Not that it's been scratching on my iPad. I've been putting it on and off the stand, and the iPad still is fine. But I do prefer a softer material. This is the Lab 22 iPad stand. This really feels great. I'm not worried about any scratches on the back of the iPad. And the same with the MagFlot stand. I'm hoping they update this. They also have a height adjustable one, but that's not ready for the M4 models either. And this has kind of a felt soft touch material as well. I just prefer that, but again, it's not like my iPad's been getting scratched with the Kuxiu models. I also really liked getting it at this low angle, and I edited the last episode of Primary Technology on my iPad on the stand, and it was kind of the perfect size on the desk, easy to use the Apple Pencil for editing, and that's probably going to be one of my main use cases for the stand. By the way, you should definitely follow the Primary Technology podcast. You can subscribe right here on YouTube. I'll put a link to that down in the video description, or you can click right up here. Overall, this is probably the stand I'm going to keep on my desk, the X33. It has a small footprint, it'll keep my iPad charged, and you can get this for either size 11 or 13-inch iPad. It is the same price for the 11 or 13-inch at $120, and you can get it for older model iPad Pros and Airs as well, including the new iPad Air M2. But in addition to the X33, Kuxiu sent me the X36, which is another stand for the M4 iPad Pro, which charges, but this is a desk clamping arm stand. Now, this thing is pretty cool. Lots of range of motion. You can turn the iPad any which way, rotate it 360 degrees. But I have to say, and they told me this was intentional in an email, but the tension of these joints on this arm is like crazy strong. Like, really put some, you gotta really put some, it's basically a workout. So, which, if you have this in one place and you don't plan on adjusting the arm very much, that's great. This iPad is never gonna move. Oh, wow, this thing is Yeah. So I'm not crazy about moving the arm with the iPad attached because I have to hold the iPad and I'm gripping it, pulling with a lot of strength. So I would place the arm where you want it and then put the iPad on. But like the X33, it's got the USB-C port on the back. It will keep your iPad charged at that 18-watt charging again. And if you just don't want to have something else on your desk, but rather clamp it to your desk, the X36 is a great option. On the bottom, there actually is a soft touch rubbery material on the part that will go on the top of your desk and on the clamp part. I kind of wish they would have put this rubber material on the part where your iPad goes, but the X36 still has the same hard surface as the 33. Again, it hasn't been scratching my iPad. I would have just preferred something softer. This is also an aluminum frame, extremely sturdy like I showed you. And it also comes with these little clips so you can have that USB-C cable clipped along the arm and along your desk, keep that cable hidden, and it'll still keep your iPad charged. Now there is one weird quirk to both of these stands. Because it's using the smart connector to charge, the iPad thinks a keyboard is connected. So anytime you go to type something, it's not going to show the virtual keyboard right away. You actually do have to tap the little symbol down here and then show keyboard, and then you can start typing. This isn't as big a deal for me because I'm usually using my iPad with universal control. And if you're doing that, you can use whatever keyboard is connected to your Mac on the iPad without doing anything specific. But if you need to use the virtual keyboard on here for any reason, you're going to have to tap that and show keyboard every time. Also, when I was setting up, I did see the little symbol saying that you've connected a Chinese keyboard. I just dismissed that. I have not seen that pop up again on either of these stands, but just keep that virtual keyboard button in mind if that's going to be a bother to you. The Kuxiu X36 charging stand is $140 for the 11-inch or 13-inch. Again, that'll also work with the M2 Air and older generations of the iPad Pro and Air as well. I will say after using this for a few days, the adjustments are getting a little easier to move it, or maybe I'm just getting stronger by working out with this thing. But just keep that in mind. It's a strong arm. Now, if you wanted to get a stand for your iPad right now that wasn't charging or magnetic, but you got the new M4 iPads, Satechi makes a nice one that just holds the iPad. You can hold it in landscape or portrait. No magnets, no clamps or anything, just sits there on the stand. And it's inexpensive, $45. I'll put a link to this in the show notes as well as the Kuxiu stands. But I keep looking for M4 iPad Pro stands, and all the ones currently on Amazon, they are just not compatible with the newer models. So I'm looking at Magflot, see if they're going to be updating theirs soon. And there's some kind of no-name brands I haven't heard of. I don't see Satechi making one just yet. And I'll review some future ones as they're made available. For right now, I'm going to stick with the X33 on the desk. It'll keep my iPad charged. I can edit podcasts with it on there. Really sturdy, aluminum. Well, actually has a soft touch base too. They should put that where the iPad is. But anyway, links to all of this is down in the video description. And if you want to see my review on the M4 iPad Pro and how I use it for podcast editing, check out this video right up here. I'll also link that down in the show notes. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel before you go. Hit that like button. I have more shortcuts videos coming soon. That's a popular part of this channel. I'll put one of those shortcuts videos right over here. I did some recently with ChatGPT 4.0, like summarizing articles from the share sheet or auto-texting someone a different text every morning. Shortcuts like that. Or you can check out the entire playlist of shortcuts from 101, starting with kind of beginner level shortcuts, walking you through the steps, all the way to advanced automations. You can find that shortcuts playlist down in the video description as well. And like I mentioned, you should definitely check out Primary Technology, the tech podcast I do with Jason Aten. We got a big episode coming up on WWDC. If you're watching this before the big event, that's Monday, June 10th. We're going to do a recap episode then, and then our regularly scheduled every Thursday episode after that. So follow the show. Links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the YouTube channel are below as well. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.